Welcome back to Clippers and Conversations. I got another haircut tutorial for y'all. If you watch my videos, you already know I like to break down my haircuts into 5 steps. Step 1 will be the consultation. Step 2 will be setting your foundation. Step 3 will be setting your guidelines. Step 4 will be blending out those guidelines. And step 5 will be detailing, which includes your lineup and going back and just cleaning up anything else you did in the other steps. So we're gonna start with the consultation. To me, this is the most important part of a haircut because no matter how good you can cut, if you don't know what the client wants and you do something different, that's a bad haircut. So, how you cut your hair?
Oh, I'm getting the medium fade. Can you give me a one on the top
One
and
on
just
top.
blend it in?
Okay, one on top, mid fade, blending in. Are you? Is the fade skin?
Skin.
Skin. All right. So it's always a good practice to step out in front of the client. That's best for clear communication. You don't want to be behind the client doing something else. For one, it's just unprofessional, and two, that's how you can have a misunderstanding. So we're about to set the foundation. What you always want to do is comb through the client's hair before you start cutting and take note of their hair pattern and stuff like that. Look at the line, look at any information that you might need to do a good job, anything you might need to ask the client about. See how their hair is swirling, if there's any swirls in the front, anything you need to know about, if there's any bumps or anything like that that you need to ask them about. You'll find out when you're combing through the hair. All right, so he's getting a one on top. I know y'all been seeing a lot of these fade videos. It's good to see the same haircut on different hair textures and hair types and stuff like that. So even if you did watch it in my old ones, still stay and watch this one. I'm doing the same steps, but you just still need to see that these steps can apply to any hair texture. So we're gonna start with the one guard. When I'm setting my foundation for these kind of cuts, I like to go completely closed. So if you don't know, if you're a beginner, closed position cuts more hair, open position cuts less hair. So I'm gonna completely close with my one guard. And what we're doing, I see the way here when I comb through, I saw where I need to start from. From wherever I started to comb the hair this way, that's where I'm starting from. And when the hair needs to go back that way, I go that way with the clipper. I'm going all the way to the front of his lineup. Take note too how I'm not gonna waste my time cutting all this hair down because I know he's getting a fade. So I'm gonna just do the hair that's not gonna be part of the fade. I appreciate everybody that subscribe. I appreciate everybody that leave comments. Let me know that y'all watching the videos and that these tutorials are helping y'all. Keep commenting. I'm gonna try to reply to every comment. Keep asking questions. I'm trying to answer every question y'all got. If there's anything that I miss or don't talk about clear enough for your understanding, just leave it in the comments. All right, that's real simple. Just do a couple passes and make sure you got it. All right, that's real simple. And remember, step 5 is detailing. So don't get so caught up doing any other step. Don't get so caught up doing it for too long. You usually got to do it and move on. So if you see in the end, you see like a hair or something sticking out that you want to get, then you'll get it then. Or if you see it in the middle, just wait to the detailing phase. Once you start blending, only focus on blending. Once you start setting those guidelines, only focus on that. And so on. So we finished setting the foundation. That should only take you about a minute or two in real time without, me stopping and talking. Now we're going into step 3, which is setting your guidelines. So he said a mid fade. What I always like to do is I like to look at something on the person's face and decide where I'm gonna line the guidelines up. So for him, I'm gonna line it up with his top of his eyebrow. Well, not even the top, exactly where his eyebrow starts at. If you see right here in the video, right there. And I'm gonna curve that line down a little bit. So that's not me saying that every mid fade is gonna be with the person's eyebrow. You have to look at the person that you're cutting at that moment and make that decision. The only purpose for doing this is so that both sides can be the same. So once I set the guideline on this side, once I go to the other side, I'm gonna use his eyebrow again to set that guideline. That way I don't have to look in the mirror or go back to the other side just to make sure they line up. I already know the person in the comment gonna be like, oh, what if their face not symmetrical? I've been cutting hair for 15 years and I don't think that's been an issue. So if you see that, you'll know what to do. Just adjust accordingly. But this is pretty general, you know. You'll be able to do this most of the time. Just find something and it won't always be the eyebrow. It might be like the corner of their hair or something like. Just find something on their face that's symmetrical to the other side, so you can make your guidelines the same on both sides. So again, I'm going completely closed for my guidelines. And when you set your guidelines, you're essentially setting 2 lines. I like to try to make that guideline really clean. And my reason for dropping below this is I think it looks better when the fade, for the fade purposes, just to shape the head. They call this part the occipital bone. And I think it just looks a little better versus keeping the fade even. But that's all a preference. You don't have to do that. That's just my style. Essentially, every fade I do is a drop fade without the person asking me. And if they don't want that, they'll let me know. So same thing on this side. Oh, before I do that, just take note that I did one side at a time. So start on this side, go halfway, stop, and then do the same on this side. Just meet the line that you started on the other side. So start with the eyebrow again. And same thing, we're gonna drop down and meet that other line that we already started. For those of you that are watching that have been cutting, I just want to make it clear that these videos are for beginners. So a lot of these steps, I know that obviously you can skip over. It's like, you don't have to tell me in the comments like, oh, you could have just went from the 2 down straight to the 1 guard. Like, I know that. But for somebody that's just learned how to cut, they don't want to be skipping around and doing all that. You want to get comfortable following all the steps and knowing what your clipper is going to do, and then you'll see how you can skip steps later on. So for all you experts that's watching how-to videos for some reason, you don't have to say that in the comments. I already know. All right, now when you get done setting that with the completely closed position, now we're going completely open. And we're setting the second line. It's going to be about finger length. That's what I typically do. Depending on the situation, you can change that, depending on how you want the fade to turn out. For this one, I'm just going to do the standard second line. So completely open. And you just follow that first line you did. For this one, you can just keep going all the way around, because you kind of have that first line already as a guide. Another thing I want to point out is that my goal in these videos aren't to show y'all how good I can cut either. Like, it's like solely for teaching purposes, you know. If I want to show off, I'll only do people that had the waves in the hair and, you know, that's want the enhancements and all that. But I want to show y'all what it's really like to be a real barber, you know. And it's about being efficient. People care about their time, you know. It's not about sitting here all day for over an hour trying to get the haircut ready for a magazine or something like that. Your goal isn't to compete with barbers. Your goal should be to make that client that's in your chair happy with their haircut, because you want to get paid. And if they're paying you and they're booking with you again, you're doing a good job. So don't get so caught up, especially if you're new, trying to compare yourself to other people or somebody that's been doing it for 15 years or something like that. You're not supposed to be as good as that person yet. You're just starting. So it takes time. All right, what we're gonna do now, since the one was what we cut it down to, we're gonna start with a one guard. So if you watch my other videos, if it was like a 2 on top, you see I start with the 2 guard. If it was a 1.5, I start with the 1.5. Since we did a 1 on the top, you'll start with that same guard to start the blending phase. This is step 4, blending. So we're gonna start completely open and then work our way down to completely closed. So I'm going completely open. I'm going about halfway of where I did before, about that same distance as I did that second line. And the reason I say start with that same guard is whatever guard you're using going with the grain, that same guard, whatever you're using going with the grain closed, the same guard will blend into that guard open going against the grain. If that makes sense to you. So if I did like a 1.5 on top, I start my fade with a 1.5 closed, or 1.5 open going against. So I'm starting with the 1 guard. Anytime you start using the 1, and any kind of haircut you're doing, that's when you want to start using the corner of your clippers. So notice I'm using the corner here more. And that's when you're gonna start doing more than in between with the levers, which I'll get to that in a second. So now what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna skip all the way close. So I was all the way open, go all the way close. And I'm gonna go straight directly to the line here. I do what's called blending down also, I forgot to mention that. And that's essentially what that means is I'm starting with my highest guard, working my way down to my lowest guard, versus blending up where somebody might start with no guard, then work their way up to their highest guard. I'll talk more about that in my other videos too. So notice how I'm using, sorry about the camera angle too, but notice how I'm using the corner of my blade. And I have the clipper in my closed position. Anytime you get down to your 1 guard, regardless of what phase you're doing, that's when you're gonna start doing more lever work. I try to tell y'all when I touch the lever, but it's kind of impossible for me to mention every single time I'm touching the lever. That's where the skill's gonna come in at, and that's where your eye has to come in at. But essentially what I'm doing is, as I see dark spots and as I go up, I push, if his lever's up, I push the lever down as I go up. And I knock out those dark spots with the corner. So just to recap, anything above the 1 guard. So if I was in my 1.5, I'm not doing that with my lever. It's gonna be either completely open or completely closed. If I have my 2 guard, it's completely open, completely closed. There's not no in between. 1 guard, that's when you're gonna start doing. 1 guard and below is when you start doing lever work. So I hope that helps somebody, hope it saves somebody time and confusion. And you should start seeing in the video the fade coming together. Also, what I want y'all to do is only blend one side of the head at a time. What that does is just helps you manage your time better. When you have a book schedule, you kind of can look at your watch and know, okay, I know it usually takes me this long to do one side. It only takes, like, by this time, I should be like 10 minutes into the cut. And so that way you can gauge if you're behind or not. And it just helps keep you just compartmentalized, helps you stay focused on one side at a time, so it's not too much you biting off at once. You get this side really good and go to the other side, get it really good, and you're essentially done with the cut. So yeah, this is just me just doing level work. When people ask for a one on top, that's gonna be your best friend, because those are some of the like easiest cuts to blend into. All right, so once you get to a point where you feel like, okay, it's not cutting no more, now it's time to go down to the next guard. So we're going down to the 0. Again, for those experts out there, I know that if I wanted to, I could skip the next guard and go no guard and just blend this out. And to be honest with you, you really can do any cut with no guard if you know how to do it, with no guards at all. But there's a safety in using guards, So you want to, if you're a beginner, just start out using those guards. Touch every guard. So we're going down to the 0. And we're doing the same thing. We're going to start close. I'll start open, sorry. So the open is where you cut less hair. And then we're going to go down to the close position. And I'm using the corner of that blade just to get those dark spots and just so it blends. The goal is to not make another guideline, but just to blend in those guidelines. It's a lot of wrist work. Using that wrist. Don't be stiff with it like that. This your paintbrush right here. You're just trying to blend. The good thing about bringing your hair down into 5 steps also, it just helps you stay focused on what you got to do, so you're not thinking about too much at once and getting distracted. And like, oh, I see this over here. Let me go do that real quick. And then while you're doing that, you see something else. It's almost like you got ADHD. Before you know it, you're not finishing anything. And you end up getting stuck on doing one little task. So learn how to do steps and stay focused on what you're doing, then move on to the next step, Just like we're already in step 4 this haircut. You're almost done, really. All right, now we're going down no guard. Same deal, starting open. This time I'm going directly with the corner. I'm not going to go in flat because I don't want to make another line. And remember, this is what we use to make that second guideline. So remember where that line stopped at, and that's really what you're going to be hitting with the corner of your blade. And then we're going to knock out that first guideline. And then we're essentially done. So I'm going to go down straight. I'm going to go straight to this line right here. I'm not going to go completely open. I'm going to go a little bit completely closed. I'm going to go a tad bit, about halfway. Hit that line. I'm going to work my way down. So you kind of see in the video how I'm kind of clicking that lever right there. As I go up, anytime I move my hand, I'm clicking something. If I go to an area I see it's not cutting, I click it down a little bit. I see it's still not cutting, I click it down a little bit more. Just working it down so I can blend that line out. If you're still in school, let me know in the comments. That's a good thing to be in barber school. Once you get that license, that's something that they can't take from you. And no matter what else you do in life, you can always fall back on cutting hair. You take that anywhere. And that what that says is that, you know, you really care about what you're doing. It's not the license itself that make you a barber, but it just says that you care about your craft. You're taking it serious. There's a lot of stuff that if you go to school, there's a lot of stuff that not going to school is not going to teach you. Like, going to school is a benefit. So I'm glad I did that, because I could cut hair. I had been cutting hair for maybe about 6 years before I even went to barber school. And after I went, I saw the benefit for just those little details that you might miss. And then I can always tell, being a shop owner now, it's always a difference from my barbers that go to school and the ones that don't go to school. There's always a difference that I've noticed. It's the little things about how often they sweep the floor and just the professionalism, just little things like that, or client interactions, just little stuff that school for sure would have taught you that I shouldn't have to say, you know. And like just cutting in your garage, certain things you're not gonna get in that environment. It's not a knock on that, you know, because that has its benefits too. It's an advantage to those people that get to experience both. I'll say that. Because school by itself don't teach you everything either. But being in the garage on your own, by yourself, it doesn't teach you a lot of things as well. All right, I'm satisfied with this side. Remember, we do have the detailing phase, so just move on. Then after you throw the line on and after that, then you come back, and anything you don't like, then you fix it. So we can go to the other side, do the exact same steps. Your goal should be to be efficient. So that's being both good and fast. So no, you're not trying to just be fast. You gotta do good too. You want your haircut to be just as good as that person that's taking an hour. If you do that same cut in 15 minutes, people gonna be wanting to come to you because you know they value their time. Why sit there for an hour and get the same thing I can get for 15 minutes? You know, so yeah, consider that. Don't be like those people like, oh, I like to take my time. Like, nah, you like to be slow. Yeah, take your time is that the person book a 30-minute appointment, that's your time. You got 30 minutes. So take that time, yeah. But don't be trying to take more than what they book for. And I'm one of those people that like to be super punctual with my clients. When I do these videos, it do be setting me back though, 'cause I be stopping and talking and stuff. And that's one thing I don't be liking, but that's a sacrifice I'm making for y'all, so y'all learn, you know. For me, yeah, doing this does slow me down because I got to stop and talk and, you know, demonstrate and stuff like that. And do a lot more steps than I probably normally would too. The reason I'm not talking through every little thing I'm doing here because I'm doing the exact same thing I did on the other side. I like to always use the other side of the head to throw me in my little tip, my barber tips and stuff like that. I do plan on set something up to where I could do these live. That way I could take live questions. I'm thinking about doing like some kind of membership or something like that. Once YouTube allows me, my account is still like being under review and stuff like that. But yeah, I plan on setting that up. Let me know if y'all interested in something like that, where it's like live and as I'm cutting, y'all can ask me direct questions and stuff like that. Let me know y'all feedback. Let me know what y'all think about what I'm saying directly, you know. If this is your first video that you're watching of me, please go and watch the other videos too. It's a lot of the same steps, but I do put in a lot of different information as far as like the tips and stuff like that. I try to, and it's a lot of times it's a response to comments, something that somebody might have said or something like that that made me have the idea like, oh, let me respond to that in my next cut. All right. Now I'm down to my 0. Hitting that lever a lot. Like I said, that's just a skill that you're gonna develop over time. Just getting that feel for when you want to hit that lever. What you don't want to do, don't be too robotic with that. You know, you gotta get that feel. Like, I mean, it's cool and all, but I just don't recommend it where you counting the clicks and all that kind of stuff. Like, oh, on one click I'm here, then another click I'm here, then like that's, you gotta take those training wheels off. That's a little bit too much. You know, be trying to keep track of. Just get a flow and a feel for it. You know, this is a work of art. You the artist, you know. You don't want to be too robotic with it. Do have a system. Like, I do want y'all to try this system out that I'm teaching, but don't go overboard with it where everything, you got to think about every little thing you do. You want it to just come natural. Like this kind of stuff, you're going to get to the point where you don't even think about what you're doing. Like, you naturally just going to move that lever. And it's really because you'll know what certain lengths, like when somebody walks in with a 1 on their head, I know what a 1 looks like. I know what a 2 looks like. I've been seeing it so much. They don't have to tell me that what they're getting on top of already. I kind of already know. Or what they already have at least. All right, now we got no guard. Same thing, completely open. Using the corner of that blade. And you'll see me working that guard down, that lever down. I noticed, man, y'all love these clippers in the comments, man. Anytime I have this clipper in the thumbnail, those videos do way better. It's like you love it or hate it. People that don't like this clipper, that say it's not good, you really just hating for real. It's a good clipper. Like, I mean, it's not the best clipper out. Like, and nobody's saying that, but it's a good, you can't deny that it's a good clipper. Like, especially given the price. Like, I got these for $100. On their site, they did raise the price on these. I don't know if it's a deal or something I got or what, but when I bought these, they was $100. I like, you can't beat that. I mean, you could pay $300 for some 360 Jeezys or something like that, but you know, if that's value to you, you know, like, cool. Regardless of what kind of clippers you gotta learn how to cut anyways. The clippers ain't gonna make you cut good. I could take some clippers from Walmart and get the job done. Same way. So you still gotta have that skill. So the only thing going to buy certain clippers is gonna make you better. It's just those Walmart clippers, they not gonna last as long. They're gonna get hot, you're gonna replace them and all that, but the skill, like if you got the skill, you got the skill. You can still do the same thing. All right, that's that. Now we're going to step 5. This last step is detailing. So that includes a lineup. Notice I left this on purpose because, like I said, anything I do, I'm trying to save time. I'm not trying to do double cut in any area, you know. So we're going to throw the line on, then we're going to knock this part out while we're over here with the lines. So while we doing, or how we do our lineup is, you always want to tell the client turn their head towards you. So turn this way. Thank you. And you want to look first before you start cutting. And you basically visualizing what you're gonna do. Like don't just start cutting without a plan. And I believe that's what people are doing, and that's how they end up pushing people back. Like, cause there's no way. Like that's one thing I never understood, how people could push somebody back, and they know they don't want their own lineup pushed back. So if you know you don't like your lineup pushed back, don't push somebody else's line up back. So visualize, like, how should this guy's line look? So I'm seeing what I'm gonna cut off already. I'll turn this way more so the camera can see. So from here, I'm cutting all that hair off because I'm looking at the other side where it lines up. And this hair is like, it's almost like a widow's peak. It kind of grows over. So I'm cutting that off. And lining up from here to there. So that's stuff you do real quick. It's not gonna take you that long to visualize like that, but I'm just trying to talk it out so y'all can understand. So, and what you always wanna do, whatever side you're cutting on, be standing on that side. And always start from the middle and work your way to the side. And even right here, you might wanna stop a little short and do the bar up and then connect it or something like that. So what I always do is I stabilize my hand with my pointer finger. I'm not going in freehand. And then I do my first line. Again, I'm still visualizing where I'm going with it. I'm looking ahead. All right, you can look back straight. But yeah, you don't want to have them turn their head because you don't want to be in their lap and leaning over and all that kind of stuff. Like, don't look like a rookie if you can, you know. Those little rookie things, like squatting, and I seen one guy, he was cutting kids' hair on his knees and like little stuff like that. Like that's rookie behavior. Like use your chair to pump the chair up, and the client got a neck, so them turn their head, you know. All right, that's that for that side. All right, you look straight. One guy's in the comments like, oh, your clippers are not sharp enough and stuff. So you like, man, you can't tell how sharp somebody's clippers is from a video, bro. Like, and that's another thing for new barbers too. I want y'all to understand, like, you don't want to, like, when I set my clippers, I eyeball it. Like, don't go too crazy with trying to zero gap it super flush. You don't want your stuff biting people and stuff like that. You don't like, and you want to, when you set your clippers, always test it out on yourself. If they biting your skin or hurting a little bit, like, you want to readjust those. They're not supposed to be hurting people or leaving marks and stuff like that and scars. They don't have to be like super duper sharp to get the job done. And this part's really gonna tell, when you start doing stuff like this, that really tells you how good your blade is. Because if you see me doing this and it's not cutting the hair off or struggling, that means my clippers aren't sharp enough. But if I'm doing this and it's balding that hair with no problem, they are sharp enough. So that's one way you can really tell through video, you know. But other than that, there's no way you can really know unless you that client sitting in the chair, you know. So you going through just balding all this hair off. It's pretty self-explanatory, this part. We're just gonna do this side, then we're gonna do the lineup on the other side and ball the other side. Make sure you get behind the ears, those little areas that you can forget easily. All right, that's that for that side. Now we're gonna do the lineup on this side. Have them turn their head towards you again. Still visualizing what I'm about to do. All right, when I do the left side of the client, I like to use my left hand. Still stabilizing, same way. Just on the other side, doing everything exactly the same. The reason I use my left hand is because, you can see a little better when you're using your left hand. Or the opposite hand on that side. Like on the other side, I use the right hand. And when I do this, it's not like that weird, awkward angle that I got to hold it at. And you can't really see what you're doing. So that's how a lot of times your sides might end up looking a little different. The goal is to get these to look the same. Turn a little bit more if you can. Thank you. Same thing, visualizing what I'm doing. All right, go straight again. And like I said, I like to start, before I complete that top bar, I like to start on the second bar. Yeah, lineup can make or break a haircut, man. Don't spend all your time trying to learn how to fade and never learn how to get a lineup right. Did y'all see that video where that guy was arguing about that haircut? I think he went and got a gun and brought it back in the shop. Like, that ain't got nothing to do with his haircut, but that's crazy. Like, a haircut ain't that serious. But that's why you want to learn what you're doing. That way you don't run into those kind of situations. Y'all let me know in the comments if y'all seen that video. Who was wrong, the barber or the client? You seen that video? You know what I'm talking about?
Nah, I did.
It was like a surveillance cam, and the client, I guess the guy was like complaining about his haircut, and the barber was like, he did look like he kind of pushed him back though, from what I saw. But you know what I mean? Like it was kids in the shop, so the guy was like, the barber was just trying to move on. He's like, have a great day, have a nice day. He ain't in charge of nothing, from what I could tell. The guy walked out, he came back with like a gun, and like had the dude pinned up against the thing, and the video cut off after that. So I don't think a haircut worth going to jail for. You know what I mean? I don't care if you put a ball spot in my head. I ain't about to go to jail about it. Or kill nobody over it. But, everybody different.
Come on, bro. You wear a hat, you gotta move on.
Right, yeah, you gotta move on. You take that L, man. But that guy probably could have just been looking for a free cut, too. Some people, and that's what the barber's trying to tell him, too, man. He's like, I did you a favor. Like, some people, they line not good anyways. And those be like some of the pickiest people, man, that had the worst lineups. So his lineup probably was already kind of receding. He just tried to like kind of fix it, but the guy didn't like that. I know somebody saw that video. Let me know in the comments. Don't leave me hanging, y'all. But yeah, I mean, like I said, I've been cutting hair about 15 years. I ain't really more than that, but I'll say professionally, like in the shop environment, 15 years. And I've never had no situation like that, I have had people complain. And with those situations, you just, sometimes I think it's best just to take the L as a barber. Just remain professional and be like, okay, I'm sorry, this cut is free, Like, don't be sitting there trying to argue with people about stuff like that. Just move on, you'll live. that kind of stuff make you better too, because don't think everybody always wrong and it's not never you. Like when somebody complaining about the haircut, especially when you just starting out, like take that criticism, like okay, get better from that, and just apologize, because they might be right. Even like anytime when you think you're not right, wrong, like there's sometimes where I just know for sure, like man, nah, this person is tripping, but you got to take that, consider what they saying, because they could be right, because you don't know what you don't know, so you just got to accept it. Don't let your pride get in the way, and that kind of way hinders people that, I see people that have been cutting for like 30 years, 40 years, and still struggling on a lot of things that we shouldn't be struggling with as barbers, like skill-wise. And it's like, that's really those people that can't take criticism. You got to put yourself in a position to where, even if you don't know how to do something, put yourself in a position where you can still do those things and get better at it. Anything you're nervous about, just do it, and you'll get more confident the more you see it. And then over time, you keep having that kind of attitude, you'll see that there's a lot of stuff that you probably done seen. There's not too much that you haven't seen at that point. You've been doing it for a long time. Like every hair test or every hair type of cut that somebody will ask for, you've at least done it a few times. So you're not trying to dodge work or dodge anything. And once you work in a shop environment, you'll see it. That one person will walk in, it'll be a walk in, and 3 barbers available, but everybody trying to dodge doing that cut because they don't want to do that kind of haircut. Like, that's money right there, man. You want to take everything. Don't be dodging stuff. If you don't know how to do it, pretend like you know how to do it, and that's how you're gonna learn. Like, you're a professional. You should at least know how to get it close to what they want. And then they'll tell you when they show you the mirror how you can adjust it. And then you just make those adjustments, and now you know how to do it. So next time they come in, you do it right the first time. It'd be different if you wasn't a barber, if you didn't know how to cut at all. But hair is just hair. You should know how to cut enough to get close in the ballpark of what somebody wants, and then make those adjustments. But that goes back to what I was saying about the consultation, and that's why it's step number 1. And that's because it's important to get that detail about what they're saying. If somebody says, I only want an inch off top, make sure you're only doing an inch, no more. If you're not sure about it, do less, than an inch. But don't do more than what somebody say, You don't want to do nothing that you can't take back. Like, you can cut the hair off, but you can't put it back on there. All right, I'm done nagging about that. All right, that's it for that. We detailed it. Y'all saw I went back and, cleaned up the fade a little bit. The back, it could be a little, I'm gonna get this a little bit too. Y'all watch the back, man. The hair is a little thicker a lot of times on the back, so you gotta give a little more love to the back a lot of times. I did one video, one dude was like, you could have faded the back a little more. And I like, yeah, you right. My bad, But, I ain't perfect, That's another example of like, I show the person the mirror, they're happy with what they got. It's not to impress y'all. I'm really just trying to impress the person in the chair because they the one paying for it. That's not a green light to be mediocre too. It's because I know, like, I'm pretty confident in my skill. I know that I'm pretty good. So even if it's something slight, it's a real slight that the average person, like y'all barbers, so y'all gonna see stuff that the average person probably not gonna see. All right, so now I'm gonna go and hit him with a razor real quick, and that'll be the end of this video. I just got my my Go Barber, not Barber, but Balder in the TPOB Balder, the Go one, and I'm gonna do like an unboxing in my next video, and like first impressions and all that kind of stuff. So subscribe if you like unboxings and stuff like that. Stay tuned for the next video. Yeah, but I always like to lean the client back when I do the raising. It's just so I can have a better angle for my hands and stuff. All you're doing here is you holding the blade like this. So have your pinky on the outside like that. Secure the blade. I stabilize my hand with my fingers. Some people don't stabilize. You also can do it without stabilizing. I like to always stabilize my hand. And then what you're doing with your opposite hand is pulling the skin tight. And that's essentially it. You're not applying any pressure to the blade. Just sit the blade on there and just pull it in the opposite direction towards the lineup. And always pull the skin in the opposite direction of what you cut. You shouldn't be nicking nobody on the lineup. This part is really simple. Just always just respect that blade. That's all you got to do. Don't get too casual with it. Cause that's you really gonna cut yourself before you cut somebody else. When you get too casual with the blade. Like, don't be trying to, like, when you take the blade out, look at what you're doing. Don't be trying to do stuff without looking at the blade. Like when you're throwing it back inside like when you're throwing it away into your blade dispenser, your old blade dispenser. Like, keep your eyes on it and just throw it away. Never get too casual with that stuff. Because, I could tell you, but if you don't do it, you're going to find out one day. All right. So that's it. I'm going to show you the mirror. Good.
Yep, that's great.
Yeah, my bad, you can hold it, bro. That way you can. I can't see what you can see.
Oh, yeah, that's great. That's great.
All right. So that's what we want to hear. That's the only goal. And, if he said something, I've been okay with that. You just make those adjustments. But the goal is for the person in your chair to like what they're getting. And it's not to impress nobody else in your shop. It's not to impress barbers on Instagram. The goal is to be a real barber. You got to make money. A lot of people post stuff on this Instagram and all that, not making no money, man. Like, I'm telling y'all, like, Instagram is not real. It's just a show. The goal is to make money, because I was booked out long before Instagram and all that was even popping like that. Like, and there's so many barbers that don't even do social media that's booked out, and the ones spending all their time trying to post pictures for likes and all that. Them not the ones. They got too much time on their hands. You know what I mean? So, like, be one of those barbers that's like about that money. You know, my goal when I started cutting wasn't really to be the best barber, the best skilled barber. My goal was to be the highest paid barber, and I was making like well over $100,000 before I owned the shop, just cutting hair. You know, so that should be your goal, to just make money, be professional, because all that kind of go hand in hand. Be skilled. You do have to be skilled, because that goes hand in hand. But that's not everything, you know? Like, so just don't get so caught up on one side like that. Like, just do it for your clients, be professional, be on time. And so thank y'all for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe if you like these kind of videos. Go back and watch the other videos. Share these videos. If you're in barber school, share these videos with your classmates. And I thank y'all. I appreciate y'all. Peace.